What's up, everybody? Welcome back here. Today I'm going to tell you a story of the worst Alcoholics Anonymous class I ever went to. This one's a good one. It's going to be entertaining. Stick around. So first and foremost, this is not a video to bash AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous. I am not here to bash that, okay? I'm simply going to express there are a lot of positives of AA, and I think there's a ton of negative stuff about AA. This was an instance that happened to me in the very early stages of my sobriety, but ultimately I had drank after this. I just tested the waters. There was something I took away from this that was very successful in my sobriety, and there was something that this was the last AA meeting I ever went to because of what I saw at this meeting. We're going to get right into it. It's a lot to cover here. I'll try to keep it relatively short, but y'all know me. We like to talk. Let's do this. So I selected a meeting to go to. I have never been to this particular meeting ever. Never been to it. It was one I found online. I was kicking the idea around of getting sober for a long time. A couple failed attempts. Hey, boys, girls, that happens. Just the way it is. So I picked this one. I'm not going to say the area I was in, but it was in Maryland. I'll say that, okay, where I'm from. So I went to this meeting. It was around noon. I went to this meeting. I opened the door. It was like a little church, like whatever. A lot of these are held in churches and things like that, whatever. So I go in this meeting. There's a lot of people, man. A lot of meetings are smaller, but there was a lot of people, man. It's probably like 30 people. That's a pretty good bit for an AA meeting. And instantly I walked in. There wasn't very many seats left. There wasn't. So I was like, okay. So surprisingly, there was seats in the front. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'll sit out front. I sit down, kind of nod to a couple people there. They acknowledge that I'm there. The instructor. Let's get this shit out of the way real quick. This guy, probably in his mid-50s. This guy has never combed his hair ever. I mean, I'm sorry. I got to call it what it is, and I got to say what it is. This guy wearing a cut-off sleeve shirt, wearing basketball shorts. This guy just looks like he is put together like he's never seen a mirror. Has never ever looked at himself. I mean, stains on his shirt and shit, and like this guy is leading the meeting. Okay? Understand that. He looks very, very not put together at all. I'm tired of people that just don't acknowledge what's in front of their eyes. It is what it is. As soon as I sit down, he's like, you could sign in up here. He says this to me. I said, what's that? And he's like, you could sign in up here. I said, why do I need to sign in? And he's like, well, there's the sign-in sheet. I said, why? I don't. And he kind of realized right then and there, I was not court-ordered to be there. This was voluntarily. I was there on my own. And I was right up front. I could see the list. There was about 15, 20 names on that list. So that means that those people were court-ordered to be there. That they mandatory had to be there. That tells me one kind of thing right there. There are people in here who do not want to be here. Okay? A judge has deemed that they go there. Okay? So I sit down in my seat. Everyone in this room is vaping. I vape. But like everyone's blowing clouds. I'm like looking around. I smell the shitty coffee they have in the back. People are just drinking coffee, eating donuts, but all the things they provide you in AA. And so he starts the meeting. Okay? I'm sitting there. Now, I am literally 2 rows back from him where he's stationed at this desk. I cannot hear this guy. okay hearing, a little bit tough, but I can't hear this guy. And I know them people in the back cannot hear this guy, not even a little bit. So I'm kind of like leaning forward, like looking at the guy next to me, like, can you hear him? Like doing that thing, you know, like, can you hear him? I can't hear him. I could not hear the fucking guy. All I know is that he wants to read a chapter of this book. We dive into it. Hey, everybody, we're gonna. I think this is what the fucking guy said. I don't know, but it was, hey, look, I'm gonna read a little bit, and then the next person or whoever, please just fill in and start reading. Okay, we all read whatever. I didn't read shit, but we start the reading process. It's about a chapter in the book. Like I said, I'm not here to knock AA. This is what happened. So after we finish this chapter, he says, okay, so now that we've read that, would anybody like to speak about this a little bit? Maybe how this chapter has affected your life, or this step in AA has affected your life. We'll start over here to the left. It's like these people knew he was going to start on the left. The first 4 people that are to his left immediately, which, by the way, as soon as he went to that first person to the left, instantly he got on his cell phone. He was on his cell phone for the rest of that class. No bullshit. That happened. Okay? Older guy to the left. See, he's been sober for quite a long time. Excuse me. The demons are coming out. If anybody in AA ever says, I will keep this brief, be prepared for probably the next 15 to 20 minutes of your life to hear them talk. I'm just putting that full disclosure. This guy says, you know what? It's good we talked about this. You know what? I'm going to keep this brief. This dude went on for the next 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Talking about just the crazy shit he has done in his life. Just insanity. And a lot of it had nothing to do with alcohol. It was all drug use. And eventually this older guy next to him kind of nudged him, was like, hey man, can we, okay, thank you for sharing. Thank you, whoever the fuck you are. All right, great. This guy, Korean War vet, I'm a veteran, so, I kind of thought I'd see eye to eye, just goes on a rant about his ex-wife. And about how alcohol and his ex-wife, and and at this point, 30 minutes have went by. So I'm like, what the hell, man? I'm just sitting there, and I'm not being rude to these people, but I look around the room, there's so many people that do not give a shit. So many people on their phones. So many people just looking at the clock and okay, all right. Get to the third person. It's a woman. This woman has clearly been on something. You know the expression, road hard, put away wet. She's had a tough road, and my heart goes out to her because this woman was 50 pounds. She's probably 50, but she looks like she's 80. Tough time. My heart did go out to her. Same thing, just telling war stories, telling all the crazy shit that has happened in her life. And I get it, because you need to hear that, but I think everyone has their own war story. Get to the next guy. It's almost over at this point. It's 45 minutes, only 3 people who have probably been sober a really, really long time are talking. Get to the fourth guy. He actually keeps it pretty brief. Just says briefly about how alcohol really affected his life in a negative way, and life is, it will get better, and the program, you got to work it, and okay, that was actually pretty good to hear that. We have about 5 minutes left. The guy next to him just starts talking about gambling, just about how his gambling and his football bets didn't go his way this week, so he really wants to drink today, and he's glad he came to this meeting, and he's getting a lot out of it. And I'm thinking, what the fuck are you getting out of this? How is this helping anybody stay sober? How? Okay, how is this actually keeping anybody sober? I don't know. This is where the best thing happened. This is why I say this was the worst and the best AA meeting I've ever been to. The next guy, we made it down into like the corner of the room. It is a guy, he's probably, I'm going to say maybe 25, 26, younger guy. And he's like kind of surprised that it made it to him. And I look back, long hair, nice guy, whatever. He says, okay, so I don't really know what this is. I don't really understand AA. I don't really like what sobriety is. I'd rather be drinking. Honesty. I like to hear that. He said, I didn't come here for your coffee. I didn't come here for your donuts. And he pointed this out. He pointed this out, which I thought was really cool. And he said, and you know what I think is really funny? Everyone that's drinking the coffee and the donuts, I didn't see any of you guys put $1 or anything in the bucket when they passed that around for donations. And like a couple people like looked at the ground. It's like, yeah, you came here for coffee and donuts. You didn't contribute. You're going to eat the shit and drink the shit, but you're not going to give back. Whatever. Guy moves on. He says, like I said, I don't understand this, but I can tell you this to anybody that's kind of newer to sobriety. He says, I've been sober for 4 months. All I can say is my life is still messed up. Now think about this. This guy's being honest and he's being open. My life is still messed up, but ever since I quit drinking, it's gotten better. That shit right there, that hit me like right there, man. That was the most honest and upfront advice I got from somebody who was just very personable and gave it to me straight. And that's what I really took from that meeting. But every other thing about that meeting was absolutely terrible. Just the worst. So the meeting ends. Everyone disperses. I see this guy walking outside, and I go up to him. I approach him. I like talking to people. Fuck it. So I go up and talk to him, introduce myself. Hi, my name is Luke, blah, blah, blah. I said, look, man, I'm not sober. And he kind of laughed. He was like, all right. I was like, but I'm really thinking about it, man. I'm really thinking about it. And I said, man, I have to ask you, does shit really get better? And the dude was really cool and really honest. He says, I mean, could the shit really get any worse if you kept drinking? That one hit me. That one hit me. No. No, it couldn't get worse. I've already reached the point of I'm not happy with myself or with my life or where it's at. Flip the script. Try something different. See what happens. I still drank for 2 months after that. And I was getting it good. Never went to another AA meeting. Been sober a long time now. But I made the decision to do it. Okay? So there is a lot of things about AA I think are really helpful. I've been to some really good meetings, by the way. That was just a terrible meeting. That was the worst meeting I've ever been to. But I've been to some really good ones. To anybody that's thinking about sobriety, don't be discouraged if AA does not work for you, because it does not work for everyone. Okay? It doesn't. I think there's a lot of victims in AA. I think there's a lot of people that don't need to be in AA at all. They need to be in some other shit. But, like, there are people there to support you and people to help you. So, if you like this, and this was something that was maybe helpful for you, just click the like button. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. And let's keep it going, man. Take care.